there are some suggested solution to the denial of service, that how we can avoid this DoS attacks. The first is implement adequate network security to block unnecessary traffic over the network. So, first is block the traffic by activating the firewalls, etc. Arrange with internet service provider to accept traffic from only unauthorized sources, means make such arrangements from ISPs that you can talk to only the authorized sources. Prepare adequate standby system capacity. Put in place adequate backup and recovery arrangements. Use scanning tools or perform penetration testing to assess the ability of the network and system to withstand DoS or denial of services attacks. Scanning tools are commercially available tools that can be used for identifying and analyzing security vulnerabilities in network, operating system and databases. Next comes the botnet. A botnet is a collection of interconnected programs communicating with other similar programs in order to perform tasks. This can be mundane as keeping control of an IRC channel, or it could be used to send spam emails or participate in denial of services attacks. This word botnet comes from the two words, the one is robot and the other network. So, this is the intelligent attack in which technology is used with the network to hack the system. Let us see how these bots work. These bots allow hackers to take control of many of the computers at the time and turn them into the zombie computers which operate as a part of a powerful botnet to spread viruses, generate spam and commit other types of online crimes and fraud. It means they convert your simple computers to such a computer that can spread the viruses, spread the spams, and they are making zombie computers so that they can spread the crime and the fraud. So, how we can protect against this bot is install top rated security software, configure your software setting to update automatically, increase the security setting on your browser, limit your user right when online, never click on attachment unless you can verify the source, means you have to only click to such a authorized attachments or email, otherwise you should not answer to every email which is come from the unauthorized access also. Ensure that your system patched with the most current Microsoft Windows update, means update your computer every time, update your computer so that you can be saved from these hackers. The last is the phishing attack. Phishing attack is act of tricking someone into giving confidential information like passwords, credit card information on a fake web pages or email from pretending to come from a legitimate company like your bank, etc. For example, sending an email to the user falsely claiming to be an establishing legitimate enterprise in an attempt to scam the user into surrendering private information that will be used for identity theft. Here are some types of phishing attacks. First is deceptive attack. The term phishing originally referred to account theft using instant messaging, but the most common broadcast method today is deceptive email message. Messages about the need to verify account information, system failure, requiring user to re-enter the information, fictitious account charges, undesirable account changes, new free services requiring quick action, and many other scams are broadcast to a wide group of recipients with the hope that unwary will be respond by clicking a link to or signing into the bogus site where their confidential information may be collected. Then comes the malware based attacks. These refer to scams that involve running malicious software on the user's PCs. Malware can be introduced as an email attachment, as a downloadable file from the website, or by exploiting non-security vulnerabilities, a particular issue for a small and a medium businessman who are not always able to keep their software application up to date. The next comes the screen logger or a keylogger. These are the particular varieties of malware that track keyboard input and send relevant information to the hackers via the internet. They can embed themselves into the user browser and small utility programs known as help objects and run automatically when the browser is started, as well into the system files as device drivers or screen monitor. The next comes the session hijacking. Session hijacking describes an attack where the user activities are monitored until they sign in to a target account or transaction and establish their bona fide credentials. At that point, the malicious software takes over and can undertake unauthorized action such as transferring funds without users' knowledge. Means they can transfer your funds, transfer your money from your account to their account without your knowledge. Means they hijack your system. The next comes of phishing attack is web Trojan. This web Trojan pop up in visually when users are attempting to log in. They collect the user's credential locally and transmit them to the phishers. Means they enter your system, they take your data, they take your speed, they take your memory and get your data and transmit to the hackers immediately and making harm to your data, your bank details, etc. Next comes the host file poisoning. When the user types a URL to visit a website, it must first be translated into an IP address. Obviously, when you type any URL, there first goes to the IP address before it is transmitting over the internet. The majority of the SMB users PC running a Microsoft Windows operating system first look up these host names. Then they come to see your host name, and you always keep your host name as your name. And when they hack your name, they get your detail from your means, they send your information, they send you mail and send that we are talking from your bank, we want to give you some giving you some prawns, giving you some gains, you can come and give your information and take the activity. But when you give your information, they take your information, make use of unauthorized access of your information and making you and the majority of the SME users PCs running a Microsoft Windows operating system look up these host names in their host files before undertaking a domain name system lookup. By poisoning the host files, hackers have the bogus address transmitted, taking the user unwittingly to fake look-alike website where the information can be stolen. So this is the one of the way in which your information can be stolen with just taking your host name. They take your host name, then they take your DNS lookups in the DNS directory, they take your directories, and then with the bogus addresses they hack your data and make you fool. Then comes the system reconfiguration attacks. In this modifying the settings on the user's PC or for malicious purposes. For example, URLs in the favorite file might be modified to direct users to look-alike websites. For example, a bank website URL may be changed from bankofabc.com to bankofabc. Means this do a slight change in the name of the site, and when you type BAN and you get the fake site, and you when you open the fake site and you give your information, they just with the nanosecond the information goes to the hacker and they attack to your bank details, your data, your money, etc. So always when you are typing your bank name, type the full name of the banker so that you cannot type the wrong name and making entry to the wrong website, and your data may be theft. The next type is data theft, in which the unsecured PCs contain file subset of sensitive information stored elsewhere on secured services. Certainly, PCs are used to access such servers and can be more easily compromised. Data theft is a widely used approach to business espionage by stealing the confidential communication, design documents, legal opinions, employer related records, etc. Thieves profit from selling to those who may be embarrassed or cause economic damage to the competitors. So, this data theft may be used by the competitors to make you harm. Then comes the DNS based phishing. Farming the term giving to the host file modification or domain name services. With the farmer scheme, hacker tamper the company host files or domain name system so that the request from the URL or the name services return a site. This result, a user are unaware that website where they are entering confidential information is controlled by hackers. They control the when your site is hacked by, your bank site is hacked by the hacker, and you are not aware your bank site is hacked by hackers, and you are giving your confidential data over there. Ultimately, you are hacked by the legitimate hackers. Then comes the content injection phishing, in which your content is destroyed, describing the situation where hacker replace part of the content with the legitimate site with the false content, designing a mislead or misdirect the user into giving up their confidential information, or misdirect the user into giving up their confidential information to the hackers. For example, hacker may insert malicious code to log user credentials over an overlay, which can secretly collect information and deliver to the hackers' phishing servers. The one of the attack is man in the middle attack, where some person come in between and making harm to your system. Then comes the search engine, where the user searches your data over the Google, over the network, and with your name, with your some data, and make attack to you. Thank you very much. This is all about the computer attacks. Thank you for patience hearing.